Welcome to Virtually Live, the podcast where we get insights from marketing leaders and event professionals. I'm Aaron, video editor at Kaltura. Every marketer knows the importance of turning digital customer touchpoints into powerful growth opportunities. In today's episode, IBM VP of Web Marketing Betsy Rohtbart shares how IBM uses data collection, video, and AI to drive their strategies forward. Alongside Kaltura's CEO Yekutiel, they explore how a results-oriented approach and workforce upskilling contribute to building a culture of excellence. Enjoy!
So excited to be sitting here today with Betsy Rohtbart, VP of Web Marketing at IBM. IBM have been a great partner and one that has enabled us to grow and improve and to do better. What a great establishment that you guys have built so many years ago, and it keeps on changing, it keeps on morphing by introducing. I've also learned your husband was at IBM and now you're at IBM, so thank you for your contribution. And Betsy has been leading web marketing at IBM through a very results-oriented approach and to upskilling her organization in a way that has paved the road to a culture of excellence at IBM. And she is here to share with us some thoughts about how she's been doing that, and especially about how data and AI is actually helping that happen. And we're going to kick it off by, what do you think? Tell us about yourself. We'd love to hear about your background, what brought you at IBM, what you're doing, what's your role, and what makes you tick, what are you passionate about, and all that. And
yeah, just a couple minutes. So I've been in IBM for about 16 months, but I have been leading web development experiences my whole career. I've worked on the agency side. I've been with SAP, Pitney Bowes, Vonage, and now IBM. But my whole career has been about creating relevant digital experiences that meet audiences where they are. And the tools and technologies that I get to play with just keep getting better and better, and I like to attach myself to that growth. I see AI as this really powerful accelerant. It is lighter fluid, but like any of us who have been camping or even built a barbecue in our backyard, the minute you throw lighter fluid on it, you kind of have to stand around and make sure it doesn't explode. So I'm right there with AI right now. That said, I love the excitement, and I'm really committed to leaning into it. And I see us using it in three ways. So first, as enhancements to the tools we're already using, platforms that and tools that my team has already adopted and gotten quite comfortable using, now seeing its own embedded enhancement, indemnified by those companies to make sure that it's simply accelerating what we can do on those tools. We see this a lot in personalization tools, really taking the Monte Carlo simulation to the next level, being able to auto-target and be able to expand our audiences that way and become more productive and efficient. We've actually made our Granite models available as open source. So we do, we live and breathe what we're saying. We want to build trusted models. We want them to train them in a way that we will create authentic experiences. And we all know it's fits and starts, and we hope not to make any front page news, but there are, we are cognizant of perhaps other missteps, and we reinvent based on them.
is that coming top down or bottom up?
It comes everywhere. I think it's part of it. It is really part of it, and I'm going to let Jerry, feverishly nod as well. It's embedded in the organization. Every time we speak internally and externally about AI, it's trusting what you create.
So where does video meet that? So let's talk about a bit, how do you use video to engage? Where does it?
So the reality is we sell pretty complex software. A screenshot just doesn't do it. So core to anything we do is we have a lot of video experience, explaining not from everything from overview of what our products do to really deeper DIY, how to install, how self-service, support, documentation. But the other way is, who knows how long the average attention span of a human is?
20 minutes.
First impression, sorry, apologize.
There's a blank
Okay.
at the 30 seconds, right?
This is gonna really hurt. 8 seconds.
I thought it was just me.
And a goldfish is 9. So I have 8 seconds from the time, and I don't think I even have that long. In fact, probably lost some of you already. From the time someone hits a web experience, I have 8 seconds to get them to stay, and I have to re-up that 8 seconds every 8 seconds. And so we're experimenting a lot more with motion art, underpinned by video, working actually very closely with your team, to get that elusive third scroll. Usually you have 1.5 scrolls on a page, and then you have to recapture attention again. So if you go to the IBM.com homepage or consulting landing experience, you'll start to see right around 1.5 scrolls, motion, to underpin usually a case study, to draw a lot more focus into something that's a little bit more high funnel. Because if we haven't caught you with something high converting at the top, we get another bite at the apple. But we know we don't get that many more bites.
And if it's only 8 seconds, what do you do on the production side with the content itself to ensure that within 8 seconds in the video, it gets interesting? Because otherwise, you're in the video, but 8 seconds have gone and you're bored.
So we do, in addition to standard web analytics, we make great use of heat maps and session replays. So even if we think our performance is good, we are still looking at how that performance looks from a user perspective. We also do a great deal of UX research, eye tracking studies, talkbacks. Because I've never done those, that two-way glass you kind of see on cop shows. And you'll actually watch a subject say, no, that's not all that interesting to me, but you watch their cursor go straight to it. Everyone's for the environment in a phone survey, as it is. You have to look at what users are doing, sometimes not only what they're saying. And you also have to juxtapose, because what they're saying is what they feel their best self should be doing, but what they're doing is what you have to account for in your digital experiences.
So you are working for a firm that's not young, and it's not always been data-oriented, albeit that Watson was a huge change, and obviously you're amongst the first to have made the big leap into this world of AI, albeit that started in the 1950s. But how do you train? You got 400 people, and you are 100% into data. What do you do to train your team to be data-oriented, and what do they do actually with data?
Driving a performance culture is like going to the gym. You build a little muscle one day, you repeat, you build a little muscle, you repeat, the muscle gets bigger. So every day I repeat 3 words over and over and over: visitation, engagement, and conversion. And everyone on my team has metrics that map to that, and those actually ladder to the top-down KPIs that are coming from Arvind, our CEO, to my boss Jonathan, and to my team. Everyone on the team has line of sight to how what they do is affecting IBM's top and bottom line. But it's the repetition, so every day, visitation, engagement, conversion. Some days, you have some setbacks. You get back to the gym the next day, you get back on the Peloton, and you keep going. Some days are really successful, so then you have to increase the level of difficulty to reach that next level. But I want to believe if my team is currently sitting in a meeting at Astor Place across town, but I want to believe if I walked in right now and said, what are the 3 reasons we are here? They would parrot that back to me. And honestly, I hope they're getting as fatigued as you do at the gym.
So layering that back on video, is it really visitation, engagement, conversion on video? If you're thinking about how you take data and superimpose it on what you're looking to actually achieve and measure on video, or is there something else, given that it's a different medium?
So I would say it's across the board. Video is an important arrow in the quiver. I find it compels visitation. We can put short form video in social media. We also do longer form video on landing pages. One of the things I challenged my team last year to do is look at their product experiences and get them to get your bounce rates in organic under 50. This was not an unreachable goal, and there were extremely well-worn paths to get there. But one of them was putting video in the lead space, especially in a product experience, to show what the product does. Challenged the whole team. Within a month, everyone was there. And by and large, everyone achieved the goal, with one problem. A couple of the pages that had already had lower bounce rates, they went up. And I said, okay, can't paint the world with one brush. Why? 2 reasons actually came up. 1, your play screen matters. The goldfish problem is real. The other thing is there was actually something a little bit more compelling from a call to action standpoint on those product experiences that already were capturing the engagement, and we degraded we distracted people from those. It didn't mean the video didn't add value. It meant it added value elsewhere. So we experimented in where in the buyer's journey for those products, which turned out to be a little simpler in terms of experience, where we could put it in the journey, because people came in a lot more educated, as it turns out, on those products. And if I was to put them all on a timeline, since you mentioned 1950, they were the products that had been in the market the longest. So they were the best known. We didn't have to use newer tactics to sell the more entrenched products because they were already selling themselves.
So you spoke about AEM and how people have adopted technologies as of recent. What happens now with AI? I mean, the curve starts getting exponential. Have they started picking up? How did they use AI in order to create content? And is it easy to push it down the group?
It's becoming a lot easier as we have, I would say, people emerging as leaders and enthusiasts and evangelists within the organization. And perhaps it's not always right at the top. So we have a great example of a campaign we launched recently called, well, I call it One Fish, Two Fish, Weird Fish, Creepy Fish. But the campaign is actually called Trust What You Create. And there was a profiles in marketing dive. So if you Google IBM Trust What You Create, you can see some of the creative. But we launched it at Adobe Summit. And we were given the canvas of the sphere to really communicate a message of our commitment to using AI responsibly, as well as our strategic partnership with Adobe. And the team used Adobe Firefly. They had the concept of using the sphere. Some of the sphere installations that have been pretty successful was like NBA Summer League. They made it look like a basketball. Pepsi really used their logo. Xbox as well. And so we wanted something a little bit more spherical. And so it became very clear a fishbowl would be a really beautiful landscape. And the team used Adobe Firefly to create fish using prompts like, show me a fish with paws and a gerbil face. But my personal favorite was, show me a goldfish. And you didn't get the goldfish you get at the carnival. You got Bruno Mars 24-karat goldfish. And it really showed you, how you have to use prompt engineering. And so to the point of that briefing process, if we had tried to brief that in pre-AI, we would, this would have been things you had to fly in for the meeting at the agency. You'd be sitting in one of those rooms. It'd be really uncomfortable with the sandwiches nobody likes. And then it'd be weeks until you see something else, and you've already gone on to something else. You have to recenter everybody to this. But instead, our design team, led by our visionary Joe Proda, put together a brief in hours. They used Firefly to say, these are the fish that it look like. We made a drift fish. We made a hallucination fish. But ultimately, it was a designer who went ahead and designed these fish inspired by the AI fish to carry the IBM brand and the vision we were truly looking at. The AI did deliver a mix of color and light that I think it is really hard to achieve just from a designer brain. And so together, with motion and video, we were able to animate a fishbowl on the sphere, as well as in our booth within the experience. You walked through an arch that made you feel like you were in a fish tank, surrounded by the drift fish and the hallucination fish and the void fish. And it's just small words that made the difference. And so we, really, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, this campaign was born not only beautiful presence, but it created a new culture within IBM, which says everyone can get fingers on keys and accelerate their creative process. Doesn't necessarily all have to land on the sphere, but when you're trying to communicate something, you can use AI to really help you.
Thank you to our guest, Betsy Rohtbart, and thank you for tuning in. Join us next time for another episode of Virtually Live, the podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.